What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Big Dog Brett. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. Trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're around 4,700, I think, last time I checked. So certainly within reach. I can't do it without you guys' help. So if you've watched more than one of my videos, it's worth it to subscribe. Now, today we're going to be talking about what happened in the Michigan-Georgia game, how Georgia beat Michigan, or how Michigan lost, however you want to look at it. And we're going to talk about it right after this. I really got to move that to a different place. I keep pressing the wrong button. It was supposed to be this. Okay guys, so I'm going to pull up some notes here real quick just because it's nearly impossible for me to rememberize. Hashtag professional. Go see your boy Uncle Lou. He's the one who told me about hashtag professional, and I am the living epitome of it sometimes. Okay. I could remake the video, but yeah, not gonna. We're just gonna roll with it like this. So you know, this was a pretty dominant performance by Georgia's defense the entire game. Georgia's offense looked really solid in the first half of this game. If you ask me, this was by far Stetson Bennett's best performance all season. Really enjoyed watching him perform the way he did. Got another video coming out about that. We'll tell you guys more about that later. So what happened in this game? Why was Georgia so dominant on defense, only giving up 2 scores the entire game? Really, Georgia scored on its first 5 possessions, and I don't know that that's ever been done against Michigan. I can't find any stats since the last time it was done. There was a stat popped up during the game where it was the first time since I think like 2006 it might have been that a team scored on its first 4 possessions against Michigan. They didn't bother to tell us what it was after that, so I don't know. I would imagine it's been a while. What happened? Georgia was able to consistently get pressure on Cade McNamara. Cade McNamara seemed like he was running for his life the entire game. He was sacked 4 times. I think he fumbled 1 time. He threw 2 interceptions. He was constantly under pressure. Georgia got 4 sacks, and I think there was 7 tackles for losses on top of that. It's really hard to move the ball downfield when you see Georgia constantly forcing a team to come up with another loss for another loss instead of a small gain. Georgia clearly had a game plan for this Michigan offense. They practiced it. They looked extremely dangerous. They looked focused. The penalties in this game were pretty minimal. And I've got my own opinions about that. I really feel like there was a lot of pass interference calls that should have been called against Georgia. And there should have been some pass interference calls against Michigan that really didn't get called. I was very surprised at how these teams kind of were allowed to play. Georgia was doing a pretty efficient job in the passing game as well. Georgia goes 21 for 30. Stetson Bennett looked very good. Now, the passes that he threw, there were passes where he stood in the pocket and he threw the best passes he's thrown in his career at Georgia that I've seen. It was hard to fault anything that he did. There was times when he scrambled that he should have scrambled and picked up big yards. And there was times whenever he started to scramble and he threw the ball downfield and picked up a first down. So, and there were times when he hit the check down guy. There were times when he changed coverage. There were times when he went with a handoff. But wow, what a difference in the offense in this game. Michigan has a stout defense. They have 2 NFL caliber cornerbacks. Georgia has struggled with being able to pass the ball efficiently. Georgia didn't struggle in this game. James Cook had an outstanding game. He had 112 yards receiving. He's a running back with 112 yards receiving, and he had 32 yards rushing. He had nearly 150 all-purpose yards in this game. Hats off to James Cook. What a great night for that young man. Also, Brock Bowers for 5 catches for 55 yards. I really thought we would have saw more of Brock Bowers later in the game. I don't know. I won't say Georgia necessarily took its foot off the gas, but Georgia seemed to score with ease earlier in the game, and later in the game it didn't seem that way. Can't say that Georgia took its foot off the gas or if Michigan's defense just bristled. But at that point, it was just really too late for Michigan. Michigan couldn't make a comeback. They couldn't move the ball. They got 1 touchdown kind of late in the game on a blown coverage. Now, I will say that there was a couple of times that Georgia had very poor secondary coverage, and Cade McNamara took advantage of it. Now, clearly there's been some adjustments made. Georgia has kind of tightened up some of the things in that secondary, obviously learning from the Alabama game. But Michigan didn't look prepared. I was really surprised. And I know McNamara is not known for being an outstanding passer, but I mean, Michigan really was able to pass the ball. They threw for 237 yards. They threw to Eric All 4 times. Almost every single one of their passes was an explosive pass, a 35-yarder, a 42-yarder, a 43-yarder, a 25-yarder, a couple of 16s, tossed in here. These were big plays. These were drive extending plays, excuse me. They were able to get it done on the ground. They just weren't able to get it done on the ground. The passing was okay. McNamara actually threw for 11 for 19, a little over 50%. J.J. McCartney came in. He threw for 7 out of 17, which is absolutely terrible. Just not... And actually, J.J. McCartney was the guy who threw the touchdown. So J.J. McCartney, who only threw for 7 passes, had more yards than Cade McNamara. So I don't know what to tell you on that. Georgia absolutely shut down the run. The run was not a factor for Georgia, against Georgia, excuse me. Haskins had a couple of good plays. J.J. McCartney, a couple of good rushes, I guess. Donovan Edwards, only one person on the team had higher than 4.3 yards average, and that was J.J. McCartney. Georgia sold out to stop the run. Michigan didn't even break 100 yards of rushing. They only had 91 yards. Georgia's defense was just extremely dominant in this game, and I hate to say it this way, but I'm going to say it this way. As a Michigan fan, I would be pretty upset. Michigan did not look prepared for this game at all. This is not the same Michigan that we watched against Iowa, and it's not the same Michigan that we watched against Ohio State. I don't know what happened, but it certainly looked like they were. I don't know if they expected to be able to steamroll Georgia. I don't know what happened. Georgia. One of the things Georgia was able to do is it made Aiden Hutchinson a non-factor. And I said that early on. I said, Aiden Hutchinson is not going to be a factor. Georgia's going to go to wherever he's not. And that's exactly what they did. He had 4 tackles, no sacks. There were 5 other players on the team that had better defensive stats than Aiden Hutchinson. That's a clear indication that Georgia was running the ball away from him or throwing the ball away from him. They essentially completely took him out of the game. There was nothing he could do to impact this game. Georgia's offensive line was prepared and did a good enough job of giving Stetson Bennett enough time to do what he needed to do. They picked up multiple blitzes. Georgia did a great job. Hats off also to my boy Jordan Davis, running down a running back, I believe it was. I believe I brought that to the attention of some Michigan fans before the game started, that this gentleman is he's over 300 pounds and he can run almost 20 miles an hour. And you got to see it in action. A lineman of 300 plus pounds runs down a running back. And I don't mean just barely, like he caught him. So hats off to Jordan Davis for continuing to be a dominant performer in the game. And that's really the tale of the entire tape. Georgia got after it. Georgia was prepared. Georgia's defense looked high-spirited and ready to win. If this same Georgia defense team shows up against Alabama, it'll be an impressive game. But I think the talent level, preparedness, and Georgia, I won't say wanted it better, but certainly looked better prepared, looked more focused, in my opinion. So great job to Georgia. Hats off, you guys performed well. You need to get ready. You got a big game coming up in the national championship in 10 days, 9 days from today. We'll look forward to making that video. By the way, if you would go ahead and leave your comment down below on what you think is the reason why Michigan lost that game or why Georgia won that game. I really appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to follow us. My name is Big Dog Brett. You can subscribe here. I'm also going to be uploading this over to Mark Rogers TV. You can search for Mark Rogers TV in the search bar. You can find us on the Voice of College Football Georgia and the Voice of College Football SEC. Really appreciate you guys. Have a great day. God bless. Go Dogs.